Every morning is a new beginning. For people over 60, it's not just a time to wake up from a long sleep. It's also a time when the body, brain, and circulatory system undergo a crucial biological transition. This moment hides a harsh reality. Just one small mistake in the morning can triple the risk of stroke, a health event that can change your entire life in just a few minutes. Have you ever thought that a familiar cup of iced coffee, a seemingly healthy juice box, or even the habit of skipping a glass of water in the morning, could be the seed for a series of potential stroke risks? For decades, people have often blamed high blood pressure, genetics, or a sedentary lifestyle as the main causes of stroke. But few people, even those who know, realize that the first drink of the day is the hidden enemy that silently triggers that nightmare. This article is not simply a medical information. It is a warning from brain experts, a morning survival guide for the elderly, and a small but life-saving action for you, or a loved one who is entering their 60s. Together we will explore common morning mistakes that can silently kill the brain. Why some seemingly healthy drinks are the cause of cerebral thrombosis. What makes just a glass of water in the morning save thousands of lives each year. And how to establish a simple but powerful morning routine that can help you prolong your clarity and longevity by decades. 1. The true nature of stroke, a silent killer of the brain. Stroke, also known as a cerebrovascular accident, is one of the most dangerous and silent killers of modern times. Every year, millions of people across the globe suffer from this devastating event. Not all of them die, but many survivors are left to face a completely altered life. Loss of mobility, loss of speech, impaired memory, and complete dependence on others for daily care. But what makes stroke truly terrifying is not just its consequences. It's the fact that it comes without warning, hits suddenly, and often strikes at the moment we least expect, in the morning. So what's really behind these sudden strokes that occur first thing in the day? Why are people over the age of 60 especially vulnerable? And could it be that something you drink, or skip, each morning is unknowingly triggering this biological disaster? A storm in the brain. Seconds that change everything. Imagine waking up from a deep night's sleep. Your body is dehydrated, your brain cells are craving oxygen, and your heart is slowly ramping up to meet the demands of a new day. Within just 30 to 60 minutes of rising, your body undergoes a dramatic shift. It restarts circulation, breathing, brain activity, and if even one part of that reawakening goes wrong, the results can be catastrophic. This is why many neurologists now refer to stroke as a perfect storm inside the brain, and it often brews in silence. In fact, studies show that more than 70% of strokes occur within the first 3 hours after waking up, during what should be the calmest part of your day. Why seniors are more vulnerable than ever. As we age, our bodies go through profound changes, many of which go unnoticed. Blood vessels become stiffer, losing the flexibility that once protected them from pressure changes. Blood becomes thicker, slowing circulation and making clots more likely. Brain blood flow decreases, depriving brain cells of vital oxygen and nutrients, especially in the morning. Thirst sensation fades, which means many older adults wake up dehydrated, even if they don't feel it. Put together, these factors create a high-risk internal environment, especially in the morning. For seniors over 60, even a small mistake, like skipping water or drinking the wrong beverage, can tip the balance. Stroke, the silent destroyer. Unlike cancer or diabetes, which tend to develop over months or years, a stroke can happen in mere minutes. A person can be talking and walking one moment, and the next, collapse and lose consciousness. There are two main types of stroke. Ischemic stroke, the most common form, caused by a blood clot blocking a vessel in the brain. Hemorrhagic stroke, less common but more deadly, caused by the rupture of a blood vessel, leading to bleeding in the brain. Regardless of type, the damage is immediate and irreversible. Each minute a stroke goes untreated, nearly 2 million brain cells die. And once brain cells die, they do not come back. Morning, the most dangerous time for the brain. Multiple studies have confirmed that the early morning hours, especially between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., are when strokes most often strike. This isn't a coincidence, it's biology. Cortisol levels peak in the morning, naturally raising blood pressure and tightening arteries. Sympathetic nervous system activation increases, causing the heart to beat faster and harder. Blood is thickest after sleep because you haven't had water for 6 to 8 hours. The wrong morning drink, such as sugary coffee, boxed juice, or diet soda, can send your blood pressure skyrocketing, raise blood sugar, or thicken your blood even more. One sip of the wrong beverage, or skipping hydration altogether, can create the ideal conditions for a blood clot to form and travel to your brain. Warning signs that should never be ignored. While many strokes occur suddenly, some are preceded by mini-strokes, also called TIAs, transient ischemic attacks. These short-term episodes serve as warning signs that the body is nearing a tipping point. Symptoms include sudden numbness or weakness in the face, arm, or leg, often on one side of the body. Slurred speech or trouble understanding others. Sudden loss of vision in one or both eyes. Dizziness, imbalance, or confusion. These symptoms often go away within minutes or hours, which is why many people dismiss them. But in truth, a TIA is your final warning. Up to 1 in 3 people who have a TIA will experience a full-blown stroke within a year, often within the next few days. So if you or a loved one experiences these symptoms after waking up, even briefly, don't wait. Get help immediately. The real risk might be you. The worst part: most people don't realize that they might be contributing to their own stroke risk every single morning. Do you start your day with coffee but skip water? Do you think fruit juice in a bottle is healthy? Do you rely on diet sodas or energy drinks for energy? Do you ignore your body's need for hydration because you're not thirsty? Each one of these habits, if done wrong, can set off a biological chain reaction that ends in stroke. It doesn't happen overnight. But day after day, year after year, these choices add up. Until one day, they catch up with you. You have the power to change the outcome. We've devoted this first chapter to painting the full picture of stroke's true danger, not to scare you, but to awaken you. Because unless you fully understand that a stroke can happen without warning, it can happen to healthy people. It's most likely to occur in the morning, and the beverages you choose first thing can silently push your risk to the edge. Then everything you read next won't matter. But here's the good news: stroke is not inevitable. You can lower your risk. You can make smarter choices. And you can start tomorrow morning with 1 sip, 1 decision, 1 glass of water. 2. The senior body in the morning. A silent crisis in the first 60 minutes. Morning may seem like just another part of the day, but for adults over 60, it represents a critical biological window, one where the body, after a long night of rest, shifts abruptly back into full activity. It's not a slow, gentle wake-up. Instead, the first hour after rising is a complex and highly vulnerable period when the heart, blood vessels, brain, kidneys, and nervous system are all rebooting at once. For seniors, whose bodies are less adaptive and resilient than they once were, this transition can be risky, even life-threatening, if mismanaged. One of the most overlooked factors in this process is hydration. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, the body is naturally dehydrated. We lose fluids through breathing and basic metabolism during the night, yet many older adults don't feel thirsty upon waking. This is because, as we age, the brain's thirst mechanisms become less responsive, meaning we no longer recognize dehydration until it's severe. But just because you don't feel thirsty doesn't mean your body doesn't desperately need water. In fact, by the time you wake up, your blood is already thicker, circulation is slower, and oxygen delivery to the brain is compromised. Your heart must work harder to pump this viscous blood through narrower, aging arteries. All of this happens before you've taken your first sip of anything. Compounding the issue is a natural hormonal spike that occurs every morning, the cortisol surge. Cortisol, commonly known as the stress hormone, helps kickstart your day by raising alertness and blood pressure. But in the elderly, particularly those with existing vascular issues, this surge can be dangerous. It triggers vasoconstriction, narrowing of blood vessels, raises inflammation, and increases cardiac workload. When cortisol collides with dehydration, thickened blood, and vascular stiffness, it creates a perfect storm of physiological stress on the body, especially on the heart and brain. And the brain, despite being only 2% of your body weight, demands 20% of the body's oxygen and blood supply, immediately and consistently. Upon waking, your brain is restarting vital operations: memory, coordination, language processing, visual recognition. To do this safely, it requires a steady, stable environment, adequate oxygen, consistent blood pressure, and smooth glucose supply. But the average senior morning routine offers the opposite. Instead of plain water to rehydrate and regulate blood flow, many reach for sugary coffee, boxed fruit juice, diet soda, or energy drinks, often with no water at all. These drinks spike blood sugar, constrict blood vessels, dehydrate the body further, and in some cases, trigger sudden arrhythmias or pressure fluctuations. For an aging circulatory system already under stress, this is a disaster in disguise. Another hidden threat in the morning hours is the phenomenon known as the morning blood pressure surge. This is a natural rise in blood pressure that occurs shortly after waking, part of the circadian rhythm. In young adults with healthy arteries, it poses little risk. But in seniors, who often have stiffened, plaque-laden vessels and weakened baroreceptors, the body's blood pressure sensors, this surge can push pressures dangerously high. Several studies, including those published in hypertension research, show that individuals with exaggerated morning BP spikes are 2 to 3 times more likely to suffer strokes, especially if they are also dehydrated or consume stimulants during this time. And while blood pressure is climbing, another problem lurks beneath the surface: blood viscosity. Blood that is too thick doesn't flow properly. It moves sluggishly, especially in small cerebral vessels. It's more prone to clotting. And clot formation is the first step toward ischemic stroke. High cholesterol, elevated glucose, and inflammation all contribute to blood thickening, but so does dehydration, which is almost guaranteed after a full night of sleep. This is especially true if the person hasn't consumed water and instead chooses diuretics like caffeine, or high-sugar fluids that spike insulin and add to inflammatory stress. Now add to that the illusion of morning energy. Most seniors turn to coffee, sometimes heavily sweetened or loaded with flavored creamers, without realizing the toll it takes. Others may choose boxed orange juice, energy drinks, or diet sodas, all of which may stimulate the body briefly, but at a steep biological cost. Caffeine, sugar, sodium, artificial sweeteners, and colorants can lead to rapid shifts in blood chemistry, heart rhythm, and vascular tone. These sudden changes are particularly dangerous for an aging system that needs gradual, controlled adaptation. The brain and heart are not built to absorb metabolic chaos immediately after waking. And yet, that's exactly what most seniors unknowingly create every morning. This explains why so many strokes happen between 6 o'clock and 9 a.m. The timing isn't random, it's rooted in biology. It's when multiple stressors converge: dehydration, cortisol surges, high blood pressure, thick blood, and harmful beverage choices. And the worst part? This silent crisis repeats every single morning. For years, decades, even, until one day, a small clot lodges itself in a cerebral artery, or a fragile vessel ruptures. A stroke happens, and the consequences are irreversible. But it doesn't have to be that way. Recognizing the fragility of the first hour after waking is the first step toward prevention. You don't need radical changes or expensive supplements. What you need is awareness. You need to understand that your body, after sleep, is in a delicate transition phase. It needs kindness, not shock. It needs fluid, not stimulants. It needs stable, not spike. And most importantly, it needs your support. The good news: One small habit, like drinking a full glass of room-temperature water within 10 minutes of waking, can dramatically improve blood flow, soften the morning cortisol impact, and lower your risk of stroke. This single action hydrates cells, thins blood naturally, and gives your brain and heart exactly what they're begging for in silence. So the next time you reach for a cup of coffee or skip water entirely, remember, your body isn't just waking up, it's fighting to maintain balance. And your choices in those first 60 minutes could mean the difference between a healthy day or a life-changing event. 3. Sweetened iced coffee, the hidden stroke risk in your morning routine. It starts out as an innocent pleasure. A chilled glass of iced coffee on a warm morning, maybe with a splash of vanilla syrup, a swirl of caramel, a generous pour of cream. For many people, especially seniors, this simple ritual becomes a daily comfort, a symbol of normalcy and energy. But what if that same glass is silently working against your brain and blood vessels every single day? What if something that feels so ordinary, so harmless, is actually setting the stage for a potentially life-altering event, like a stroke? Sweetened iced coffee has become a staple in modern breakfast routines. It's advertised as refreshing, energizing, and even light compared to sugary sodas. But the reality is far more alarming, particularly for people over 60. At first glance, iced coffee may not seem threatening. After all, it's coffee, just cold. But once you add flavored syrups, sweetened creamers, or whipped toppings, that refreshing drink becomes a concentrated vessel of hidden sugar, caffeine overload, and sodium. And the way your body responds to this combination, especially in the first hour of the morning, is far more intense than most people realize. When you consume sweetened iced coffee right after waking, before drinking water or eating anything, you introduce a sudden spike of caffeine, sugar, and artificial fats into a body that's still dehydrated and physiologically fragile. The result is a chain reaction. Your blood sugar rises rapidly, your blood vessels constrict due to the caffeine, your heart starts beating faster, and your already thick morning blood becomes more prone to clotting. This is not speculation. This is exactly what peer-reviewed studies confirm. Sugar combined with caffeine increases blood viscosity, which makes blood harder to pump. At the same time, blood pressure can rise sharply within minutes of consumption, especially in older adults with existing vascular stiffness. Add in artificial creamers, which are often packed with hydrogenated oils and hidden sodium, and you're placing enormous strain on your cardiovascular system, right at the moment it's least equipped to handle it. The brain, which needs stable oxygen supply and smooth circulation, now faces constricted arteries, rising pressure, and potential glucose imbalance. Over time, this repeated pattern, day after day, year after year, causes cumulative damage. Arteries become less flexible. Micro-tears in vessel walls can occur. Inflammatory responses are triggered. And all of this dramatically increases the likelihood of plaque rupture, clot formation, and ischemic stroke. It gets worse when we consider the psychological aspect. Sweetened iced coffee, with its delicious flavors and creamy textures, is engineered to feel comforting. Seniors often report that it helps them feel more awake, perk up their mood, or reward themselves in the morning. But these sensations are misleading. What's actually happening is a chemical stimulation of dopamine and adrenaline, masking the underlying biological stress your body is enduring. You may feel more alert, but your blood pressure is rising, your brain is being flooded with stress hormones, and your arteries are narrowing. The risk becomes even higher when this drink replaces breakfast or water entirely, leaving your body not only overstimulated but also undernourished and dehydrated. And here's a critical fact most seniors don't know. Many commercial coffee blends, creamers, and flavorings contain added sodium and emulsifiers. These not only increase fluid retention and vascular pressure, but can also aggravate pre-existing heart conditions. People often assume sodium is only an issue with salty foods like chips or soup, but flavored iced coffees and ready-to-drink bottled blends often have surprising amounts of sodium, hidden in ingredients like sodium caseinate or flavor stabilizers. In other words, Your morning pick-me-up may be quietly loading your bloodstream with the exact triggers that can push you toward a hypertensive crisis or stroke event. But does this mean you have to give up iced coffee entirely? Not necessarily. The goal is not deprivation, it's reformulation. If you love the taste of iced coffee, you can still enjoy it, but in a form that supports your vascular and neurological health, not endangers it. Here's how. Start by preparing your iced coffee at home using unsweetened cold brew, without added syrups or creamers. Replace artificial creamers with a splash of unsweetened almond milk or oat milk. Avoid flavor pumps or caramel drizzle that can add 30 to 50 grams of sugar per serving. And most importantly, never drink iced coffee first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Always hydrate with at least 1 full glass of room temperature water first. This alone can help reduce the concentration of caffeine and sugar entering your bloodstream too rapidly. Also, consider drinking your coffee later in the morning, after breakfast, after hydration, and after your blood pressure has had a chance to stabilize. This simple shift in routine can drastically reduce vascular stress. Remember, timing matters just as much as content. The truth is, your arteries and brain don't care whether your morning ritual feels comforting. They care about biology, about flow, pressure, viscosity, oxygenation. And if you're over 60, your body is less forgiving with each passing year. Small indulgences become bigger risks. What you once tolerated in your 40s or 50s now carries serious consequences. That's why rethinking your morning iced coffee is not about sacrifice, it's about survival. It's about choosing energy without inflammation, stimulation without pressure, routine without risk. In the end, stroke is not just about what runs in your family. It's about what runs in your cup. And if that cup contains a sugary, chemical-laden iced coffee that you drink before hydrating, you may be setting your brain up for failure, one sip at a time. The good news is that awareness gives you control. You don't need to fear coffee. You just need to respect your body's needs in the moments when it's most vulnerable. And morning, for seniors, is exactly that moment. 4. The fruit juice illusion. Why healthy bottled juice can harm your brain. It's easy to believe that starting the day with a glass of fruit juice is a healthy choice. After all, we've been told for decades that orange juice is rich in vitamin C, that apple juice is a source of antioxidants, and that drinking 100% fruit juice is better than reaching for soda or energy drinks. For many older adults, a small glass of juice in the morning feels like a gentle, nutritious ritual, one that aligns with the desire to age healthfully and naturally. But behind the marketing and colorful packaging, there's a dangerous truth that most seniors never hear. Packaged fruit juice, even when labeled 100% pure, can be harmful to your brain, your blood vessels, and your stroke risk. Let's begin with the biology. Fruit juice, particularly the kind sold in cartons, plastic bottles, or shelf-stable boxes, is very different from whole fruit. The juicing process removes nearly all of the fiber that would normally slow down sugar absorption in your body. What's left is a highly concentrated form of natural sugar, called fructose, that hits your bloodstream very quickly. And when you drink juice on an empty stomach in the morning, when your body is already dehydrated, blood vessels are constricted, and your cortisol levels are peaking, you flood your system with a sudden surge of glucose and insulin. This spike can cause rapid changes in blood pressure, strain your heart, and impair blood flow to your brain. For a senior whose vascular system is already fragile, that's a dangerous way to start the day. The problem is compounded by the fact that many juices, even those labeled 100% fruit juice, contain added sugars, flavor concentrates, or preservatives that alter the way your body reacts. These additives may not be clearly marked, but they're often hidden under names like fruit puree, natural flavor, or ascorbic acid. And while they may preserve shelf life or enhance taste, they do not serve your arteries. On the contrary, they worsen metabolic stress and increase inflammation, two known contributors to stroke risk. Even when juice contains no added sugar, the lack of fiber means your liver and pancreas are still forced to process large amounts of liquid sugar quickly, raising triglycerides and thickening the blood. Studies have shown that frequent consumption of fruit juice, especially in older adults, is associated with increased risk of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and cerebrovascular events. Let's consider orange juice, a classic breakfast favorite. An 8-ounce glass contains about 22 to 26 grams of sugar, roughly the same as a candy bar. Apple juice is not far behind, and grape juice can be even more concentrated. Without fiber to regulate absorption, these juices act almost identically to soda in terms of their metabolic impact. And because seniors often drink these juices thinking they are natural and vitamin-rich, they may not realize that they're starting each day with a high glycemic load that their aging cardiovascular system struggles to handle. But what makes the risk even more deceptive is that juice gives a false sense of nutrition. You feel like you're making a smart choice. The sweetness is familiar, comforting. It doesn't trigger the same concern as, say, drinking a cola or eating cake. But in the body, sugar is sugar. And in the bloodstream, the absence of fiber means the sugar from juice behaves almost identically to refined sugar, particularly when consumed first thing in the morning. So what happens inside your body when you down a glass of juice after waking? First, your blood sugar rises rapidly. Then, your insulin spikes to control it. Your blood vessels, already tight and under pressure from the morning cortisol surge, respond by becoming more inflamed. Over time, this pattern damages the inner lining of your arteries, promotes plaque buildup, and increases the chance of a clot forming and lodging in a cerebral artery. In the short term, you may feel a jolt of energy, followed by fatigue, brain fog, or dizziness as your blood sugar crashes. In the long term, the risk accumulates, until one day, the wrong spike at the wrong moment becomes irreversible. Does that mean all fruit juice is bad? Not necessarily. It means the timing, form, and quantity matter more than most people realize. Whole fruits, such as oranges, apples, or grapes, are packed with fiber, which slows down sugar absorption and offers satiety, antioxidants, and digestive benefits. Eating an orange is not the same as drinking its juice. The chewing process, the fiber, the slower intake, these all reduce metabolic stress. If you enjoy a fruity start to your morning, a much healthier alternative is to blend whole fruits with water or a handful of chia seeds to increase fiber and reduce the glycemic load. Better yet, enjoy your fruit alongside a protein-rich breakfast or after you've hydrated and allowed your blood pressure to stabilize. Most importantly, do not treat juice as a replacement for water, especially not in the morning. Your body wakes up dehydrated, your brain needs clean fluid to function, and your blood needs to be thinned, not sweetened. Juice, especially when consumed in place of hydration, does the opposite. It taxes your organs instead of supporting them. It spikes instead of soothes. And for seniors, whose bodies are less forgiving of pressure and sugar swings, that can lead to serious outcomes. So, the next time you reach for that chilled carton of juice, ask yourself, am I helping my brain, or am I flooding it with the exact conditions that promote a stroke? Your arteries can't read nutrition labels. They only respond to biology. And when you're over 60, every sip matters more than ever. The choice between hydration and high sugar, between whole fruit and stripped-down juice, between temporary sweetness and long-term stability, is yours. And it begins the moment you open your refrigerator. 5. The diet soda trap. Why zero sugar can still damage your brain. For many people trying to stay healthy after 60, diet sodas and zero-sugar beverages seem like the logical solution. You've been told for years that sugar is the enemy, so when faced with the choice between regular soda and a zero-calorie version, the answer feels obvious. Pick the one without sugar. It tastes almost the same, doesn't spike your blood glucose, and even the label says, diet, light, or guilt-free. But beneath the surface of these fizzy, appealing drinks lies a hidden danger, one that doesn't just affect your waistline, but strikes at your heart, your circulation, and especially your brain. In fact, if you're over 60, that can of diet soda might be doing more damage than the sugary version you thought you were avoiding. Let's start with what's actually in diet sodas. While they may be free of sugar, they are not free of biological consequences. These beverages contain artificial sweeteners such as aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and acesulfame potassium, chemical compounds that were created to mimic the taste of sugar without the calories. At first glance, they seem like miracles of modern science. But the body, particularly the aging body, doesn't respond to them the way you'd expect. Studies have shown that even though these sweeteners have no calories, they can still stimulate insulin production, alter gut microbiota, and confuse the brain's appetite regulation system. Your body tastes sweetness and prepares for incoming calories and glucose, but when none arrive, it sends signals of hunger, craving, and metabolic confusion. For older adults, this confusion can have serious effects. First, there's the issue of blood pressure. Several large-scale studies, including those published in Stroke and the Journal of the American Heart Association, have found a strong link between daily consumption of diet sodas and an increased risk of hypertension, stroke, and even dementia. One study found that seniors who drank at least one diet soda per day had nearly 3 times the risk of stroke or Alzheimer's-like memory loss over a 10-year period. Another showed higher incidences of atrial fibrillation, a dangerous type of irregular heartbeat that increases the risk of clot formation and stroke. These findings are not coincidences. They're rooted in the biochemical ways artificial sweeteners affect your body, by disrupting blood pressure regulation, increasing oxidative stress, and triggering inflammatory responses in the arteries. Then there's dehydration, an often overlooked but crucial piece of the puzzle. Diet sodas, like regular sodas, contain phosphoric acid, caffeine, and sodium, all of which contribute to fluid loss and kidney stress. This becomes particularly concerning in the morning, when your body is already in a dehydrated state after sleep. Instead of replenishing fluids and supporting circulation, that morning can of diet soda dehydrates you further, thickens your blood, and makes it harder for oxygen to reach your brain. The result? Higher risk of clot formation, reduced cerebral perfusion, and greater vulnerability to transient ischemic attacks or full strokes. The danger doesn't stop at physical health. Artificial sweeteners also have significant neurological effects. Research from institutions like Boston University and Yale School of Medicine has shown that diet soda consumption is linked to early cognitive decline, mood disorders, and impaired memory formation. In older adults, especially those already experiencing mild cognitive impairment, this can accelerate the progression toward dementia. The mechanisms are still being studied, but one key factor is that chemical sweeteners may interfere with the brain's glucose metabolism, essentially starving neurons of the steady energy they need to function. You might think switching to zero-sugar soda is a way to clean up your morning habits, but in reality, it may be swapping one set of risks for another, more insidious, longer-lasting ones. What makes it worse is that many seniors drink diet sodas as a substitute for water, or even first thing in the morning, believing they are making a healthier choice. But when you begin your day with artificial chemicals, no hydration, and no real nutritional input, you're sending your brain and vascular system into metabolic confusion and stress. Over time, the effects add up: blood vessel damage, impaired neurological performance, and increased stroke risk. So, what's the alternative? If you crave carbonation, you don't need to give it up entirely. Try switching to sparkling mineral water with a squeeze of lemon or a splash of pure cranberry juice, unsweetened. This gives you the refreshing fizz without the chemical load. You'll also benefit from trace minerals that support hydration and electrolyte balance, especially important for older adults. If you need flavor, try infusing your water with slices of cucumber, ginger, or berries. These natural infusions support your health rather than undermine it. Most importantly, stop relying on artificial beverages to start your day. Your body, and especially your aging brain, needs water, nutrients, and gentle stability in the morning. Not caffeine, not chemicals, and definitely not the metabolic confusion caused by synthetic sweetness. Just because something has 0 on the label doesn't mean it has 0 effect. In fact, in the case of diet sodas, the effect is very real and very dangerous, especially over time. So the next time you crack open a can of zero-sugar soda, ask yourself what you're really drinking. Because it's not just flavor, it's risk. And when you're over 60, the line between daily habit and medical emergency is thinner than ever. Your brain deserves better fuel. Your heart needs better protection. And your arteries, silent, overworked, and underappreciated, are begging for a break from the chemicals. Give them water. Give them peace. Give them the chance to carry you through the day without a stroke waiting around the corner. 6. Energy drinks and sports beverages, the brightly colored threat to your aging heart and brain. In a world obsessed with productivity and instant energy, it's no surprise that energy drinks and sports beverages have carved out a permanent place on grocery shelves and in morning routines. They come in sleek cans, vibrant colors, and are loaded with promises: boost energy, improve performance, rehydrate faster, revitalize your mind. For younger people with robust cardiovascular systems, the impact of these drinks may be temporary and tolerable. But for older adults, particularly those over the age of 60, these beverages are far more dangerous than most realize. Behind the flashy branding lies a toxic cocktail of caffeine, sugar, sodium, stimulants, and chemicals that can wreak havoc on the aging heart, brain, and vascular system, especially when consumed first thing in the morning. Let's begin with energy drinks. These are not simply caffeinated sodas. They are pharmaceutical-grade stimulants in a can, often containing high concentrations of caffeine, guarana, taurine, B vitamins, artificial sweeteners, and herbal extracts that interact in complex and unpredictable ways. A single can may contain twice or even 3 times the caffeine of a regular cup of coffee, and when consumed on an empty stomach in the morning, after a night of dehydration and circulatory slowdown, this flood of stimulants pushes the cardiovascular system into overdrive. The heart rate accelerates, blood pressure surges, and blood vessels constrict sharply. For a senior with already stiff arteries, reduced baroreceptor sensitivity, and a history of hypertension or arrhythmia, this kind of jolt can be catastrophic. Even worse, these drinks often mask their potency behind terms like natural energy or vitamin-enriched, creating the illusion of safety. But their effects are anything but safe. Medical literature is increasingly filled with case studies of older adults experiencing irregular heartbeats, anxiety attacks, elevated blood pressure, dehydration, and even sudden cardiac arrest after consuming energy drinks. The underlying problem is simple. These beverages stimulate the nervous system without nourishing or hydrating the body, creating a metabolic state that is unstable and unsustainable, particularly dangerous for brains and hearts that rely on gentle consistency, not spikes and crashes. And what about sports drinks? Surely those are safer, right? After all, they're designed for hydration. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most commercial sports drinks are formulated for young, highly active athletes, not for sedentary or moderately active seniors. These drinks often contain high amounts of sodium, sugar, artificial colors, and preservatives, which, while perhaps helpful for electrolyte replenishment in someone who has been sweating intensely for 90 minutes, can be damaging in someone who just woke up and is already mildly dehydrated. When consumed in the morning by older adults, who may already be dealing with elevated blood pressure, kidney sensitivity, or fluid retention, sports drinks can increase vascular pressure, promote sodium overload, and worsen circulatory stress. The added sugars spike insulin and blood glucose levels, the dyes and chemicals increase oxidative stress, and the imbalance of minerals may even promote muscle cramping, brain fog, or fatigue later in the day. In short, the drinks designed to hydrate can ironically contribute to dehydration by altering the body's water retention and excretion balance. The most deceptive part of energy and sports beverages is how they make you feel. The caffeine and sugar offer a short-lived high, an illusion of energy, alertness, and performance. But beneath that surface, your brain is being taxed, your heart is being overworked, and your blood is being flooded with compounds that destabilize rather than support your core functions. You might feel good for a while, but you'll often crash. And worse, you're teaching your body to rely on artificial stimulation rather than natural balance. Over time, this cycle contributes to chronic fatigue, disrupted sleep, elevated stress hormones, and, most critically, a greater risk of stroke and cardiac episodes. So what's the alternative? What can a senior drink in the morning to feel energized without taking on unnecessary risk? One of the most powerful, safe, and underappreciated choices is warm lemon water with a pinch of Himalayan salt. This combination supports natural hydration, provides a gentle electrolyte balance, and stimulates digestion without shocking your system. It also helps flush out toxins, reboots cellular metabolism, and gently reawakens your body without the need for stimulants. For those seeking a more invigorating flavor, infusions of mint, ginger, or cucumber can offer refreshment without risk. Green tea or matcha, consumed later in the morning and in moderation, can provide mild caffeine along with antioxidants that support vascular and cognitive health. Ultimately, the body after 60 doesn't need more force, it needs more support. It doesn't need to be pushed harder, it needs to be nourished, protected, and stabilized. And that begins with your first drink of the day. Avoiding energy drinks and commercial sports beverages is not about denying yourself pleasure or performance. It's about choosing a form of energy that aligns with the biology of longevity. Because the goal isn't to feel hyper for an hour, it's to stay sharp, steady, and independent for years. The next time you see a neon-colored can promising power and endurance, pause and ask, what is this really doing inside my body? And is it worth the cost? If you're over 60, the answer is almost certainly no. Your brain deserves calm energy. Your heart deserves peace. And your day deserves to begin without an artificial battle being waged in your bloodstream. Choose wisely. Because in the long run, real energy doesn't come in a can. It comes from understanding your body and honoring its needs with every sip. 7. Skipping water. The #1 morning mistake that silently triples your stroke risk. You might think the most dangerous drink in your morning routine is soda, coffee, or an energy drink. But what if the greatest risk wasn't something you drank, but something you failed to drink? For millions of seniors, the most harmful mistake they make every day doesn't involve sugar, caffeine, or artificial sweeteners. It's far simpler, far quieter, and far more dangerous than most people realize. The biggest threat is skipping water completely. Not drinking water in the morning, especially after 60, is one of the most overlooked yet biologically devastating habits that directly increases your risk of stroke, heart attack, and cognitive decline. And what's worse, it happens in silence, without symptoms, without warning, until one day your body can no longer compensate for the stress. Let's start with what happens during sleep. While you rest for 6 to 8 hours, your body continues to function. Your lungs draw air, your kidneys filter, your skin releases moisture, and your brain burns glucose to consolidate memories and perform subconscious tasks. All of this happens without fluid replenishment. You're essentially fasting from hydration all night. By the time you wake up, your body is already mildly to moderately dehydrated, your blood is more concentrated, and your vascular system is working harder to maintain circulation. If you do nothing to counteract this, no water, no rehydration, your body enters the day in a compromised state. Here's what that means biologically. Blood viscosity increases, meaning your blood becomes thicker, slower, and more resistant to flow. Your heart has to pump harder to push it through aging, stiffer arteries. Your brain, in desperate need of oxygen after a long night, receives less efficient blood flow. All of this results in an environment that is primed for clot formation, particularly in the morning when blood pressure is naturally higher due to cortisol. It's no coincidence that a significant percentage of strokes occur in the early hours of the day. Your body is stressed, dry, and pressured. And yet, millions of seniors choose to start their morning with everything except the one thing their bodies are begging for: water. Coffee. Yes. Juice. Often. Diet soda or tea. Sometimes. But pure water? For many, the answer is no. And the consequences of that one omission are far-reaching. Without water, your kidneys struggle to filter properly, toxins accumulate in your bloodstream, and inflammation rises. Your joints ache more. Your digestion slows. Your brain feels foggy. You feel tired, cranky, and unfocused, and many people chalk it up to aging. But it's not age. It's dehydration. The issue is compounded by another problem unique to aging: reduced thirst signals. As we grow older, the hypothalamus, the part of the brain responsible for regulating thirst, becomes less sensitive. You may not feel thirsty, even when your body is desperate for fluid. That's why waiting for thirst to tell you to drink water is a flawed strategy after 60. You can't rely on instinct. You need a conscious routine, a commitment to rehydrating first thing in the morning, every single day, without fail. The benefits of drinking water first thing are profound and immediate. A full glass of room temperature water, preferably 250 to 300 milliliters, within 15 minutes of waking restarts circulation, thins the blood, supports kidney function, enhances digestion, and rehydrates the brain. It also lowers cortisol levels, eases morning blood pressure spikes, and supports mental clarity. Think of it as a biological oil change, flushing out the metabolic waste that accumulated overnight and preparing your body to move, think, and function clearly. It's a small act, but one that pays enormous dividends for your longevity, cognitive health, and stroke prevention. Yet despite all of this, many older adults still skip water entirely in the morning. Some simply forget. Others claim they don't like the taste. Some say they prefer to drink later in the day. But the truth is, no other time of day matters more. What you do in the first 30 to 60 minutes sets the tone for your vascular and neurological performance for the rest of the day. And skipping water is like expecting your car to drive smoothly with no oil, no coolant, and no fuel. Eventually, something breaks. The stroke risk is not theoretical. Dehydration has been shown in numerous studies to increase blood clot formation, impair cognitive function, and heighten blood pressure variability, all of which are key predictors of ischemic stroke. In one study, even mild dehydration led to measurable shrinkage in brain volume and memory deficits, and these effects were more severe in people over 60. Another study found that hospitalized stroke patients who were dehydrated on admission had higher rates of mortality, longer recovery, and worse neurological outcomes. Fortunately, prevention is simple. You don't need expensive supplements, special filters, or electrolyte packets. You need a habit. A daily commitment to drinking water, before anything else. Room temperature water is best, as it is gentle on the stomach and quickly absorbed. If you want to enhance the effect, you can add a squeeze of lemon for gentle liver support, or a few grains of Himalayan salt for electrolytes, but plain water alone is powerful. Make it your first action after getting out of bed. Place a glass by your nightstand. Set a hydration reminder on your phone. Keep a bottle in your bathroom. Whatever it takes, build the habit, because your brain and heart are depending on it. In truth, this one act, drinking water first, may be the single most life-saving morning decision you can make after 60. It won't feel dramatic. It won't feel revolutionary. But over days, weeks, and years, it will quietly preserve your cognitive function, protect your circulation, stabilize your energy, and lower your stroke risk in ways no pill or procedure ever could. So the next time you open your eyes in the morning, don't reach for coffee. Don't walk straight to the kitchen and pour juice. Don't check your phone or flip on the news. Reach for water. Let that first sip be your signal to your brain. I'm here. I'm awake. I'm supporting you. And I'm choosing not to risk my life on a morning mistake that's entirely preventable. Because when it comes to strokes after 60, one simple glass of water may be the quiet hero that saves everything. 8. The science of hydration. How water rebuilds your brain, protects your arteries, and restores vitality after 60. If you're over 60, and you've ever wondered whether something as simple as drinking water could really make a difference in your health, the answer is a resounding yes. In fact, according to an expanding body of research, consistent morning hydration is one of the most powerful, drug-free tools you have to reduce stroke risk, improve cognitive performance, stabilize blood pressure, and even combat age-related fatigue and joint pain. It doesn't cost a thing. It's not complicated. But the science of hydration reveals why this quiet habit might be the most biologically intelligent thing you can do for your aging body. Let's begin with the brain. The human brain is made up of approximately 75% water. Every thought you think, every memory you recall, every sentence you form, every emotion you process, all of it depends on fluid balance inside and between your neurons. When you are even mildly dehydrated, your brain literally shrinks in volume. Studies using MRI scans have shown that older adults who are dehydrated have smaller brain mass, slower processing speed, and weaker memory recall than those who are fully hydrated. The lack of water doesn't just slow down your mind, it starves it. It deprives your neurons of the basic medium in which electrical signals are transmitted. It reduces the efficiency of neurotransmitters, like dopamine and serotonin, which regulate your mood and motivation. And perhaps most critically, it compromises blood flow to the brain, which is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients and clearing out metabolic waste. This is why chronic dehydration in seniors is strongly linked to increased risk of dementia, brain fog, confusion, and falls. The mental fatigue you feel, the forgetfulness, the low motivation or irritability. In many cases, these symptoms are misdiagnosed as normal aging, when in fact, they are the completely avoidable result of long-term, low-grade dehydration. Reintroducing consistent hydration into your daily rhythm, starting with your morning routine, can reverse these symptoms faster than any supplement or medication. But the benefits don't stop at your brain. Let's talk about your blood, the vehicle that transports everything your body needs. Blood is a suspension. It's made of plasma, mostly water, red and white cells, platelets, and other vital proteins. When you're dehydrated, the water content of your plasma drops. Your blood becomes thicker, stickier, and harder to circulate. Your heart must beat harder to push it through your vessels, and the increased viscosity raises your risk of clot formation, arterial blockages, and hypertension. This is especially dangerous in the morning, when your body is already under vascular stress. By simply drinking water, you thin your blood naturally, improving flow, reducing resistance, and lowering strain on your heart and arteries. It's one of the safest, most effective ways to protect yourself from stroke, and unlike blood thinners, it comes with zero side effects. Hydration also plays a major role in joint health, something few people associate with water. Your joints, especially the knees, hips, and spine, are cushioned by synovial fluid, which is largely water. As you age, and particularly if you're not drinking enough, your joints become less lubricated, leading to stiffness, cracking, and pain. Many seniors complain of morning stiffness, not realizing that it's not just age, but overnight dehydration. Drinking a full glass of water upon waking can restore joint fluid balance, reduce inflammation, and make movement more comfortable within minutes. Let's not forget digestion, a system that tends to slow down with age. Constipation is a common issue among older adults, often leading to bloating, discomfort, and poor nutrient absorption. What most people don't realize is that water is your digestive system's best friend. It activates peristalsis, the wave-like muscle contractions that move food through your intestines, softens stool, and supports the production of stomach acid and digestive enzymes. Starting your day with water helps wake up your gut and promote regular, pain-free elimination, a small but vital aspect of healthy aging. Now let's bring this back to the heart of our discussion: stroke prevention. Every point mentioned so far, improved brain circulation, thinner blood, stabilized blood pressure, better vessel flexibility, reduced inflammation, directly contributes to lowering your lifetime stroke risk. Stroke is not just about one big event, it's about 1,000 small stresses that build up over time. And chronic, unaddressed dehydration is one of the most common, most fixable of those stresses. In fact, in one 2015 study published in Stroke, researchers found that patients who were dehydrated at the time of stroke onset had significantly worse outcomes, more brain damage, longer hospital stays, and lower rates of recovery. Another study found that adequate daily water intake reduced the risk of first-time stroke by over 30% in people over 60. These are not minor numbers. These are life-altering statistics. What's even more encouraging is how quickly the body responds once you begin hydrating regularly. Many seniors report improved mental clarity, more stable energy, reduced headaches, better bowel movements, and even more restful sleep, all within days of making morning water a priority. It's not magic. It's biology. It's the way your body is designed to thrive when given what it truly needs. So why don't more people stick with it? Often, it's because they expect dramatic results instantly. But hydration is cumulative. It's like filling a well. Each glass contributes to a reservoir that supports every cell in your body. Consistency is everything. Make it easy. Keep a glass beside your bed. Add lemon, cucumber, or mint if it helps you enjoy the taste. Set reminders. Use a water tracking app if needed. The key is to turn hydration from a chore into a daily act of self-preservation. In truth, no pill, no treatment, no surgery can replace what water provides, because water doesn't treat symptoms, it restores the foundation. And at age 60 or 70 or 80, it is precisely the foundations, circulation, oxygen, hydration, stability, that determine whether you age with strength or struggle. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, choose water. Not because it's trendy. Not because someone told you to. But because your brain, your blood, your joints, your gut, your heart, your entire being, is waiting for that one simple act to say, I'm still here. I'm still alive. And I'm going to take care of myself, one glass at a time. 9. Your new morning blueprint. A step-by-step routine to protect your brain, heart, and future. By now, you understand the stakes. You've seen how one missed glass of water or one wrong drink can quietly shift your blood pressure, thicken your blood, starve your brain of oxygen, or elevate your stroke risk. But information alone isn't enough. Knowledge without action changes nothing. What truly transforms health after 60 is habit. Daily, repeatable choices that work with your biology, not against it. So in this chapter, we bring it all together. This is your new morning blueprint, a science-backed, step-by-step routine designed specifically for seniors to protect brain function, stabilize circulation, and support long-term vitality. It requires no pills, no complicated tech, and no expensive equipment. Just a glass, a clock, and a bit of commitment. Let's begin with the first 10 minutes after waking. This is your golden window, the most powerful moment to reset your system for the day ahead. Before checking your phone, before coffee, before breakfast, drink a full glass, 250 to 300 milliliters, of room temperature water. Don't use ice. Don't add sugar. Don't delay. Keep the glass by your bedside or in the bathroom. This one act begins rehydrating your brain, thinning your blood, flushing overnight toxins from your kidneys, and preparing your digestive tract for gentle activation. If you want to go further, add a slice of lemon or a pinch of pink Himalayan salt, both of which help support electrolyte balance and gentle liver stimulation. But plain water alone is enough to trigger profound internal benefits, especially when it becomes the first signal your brain and body receive each morning. Once you've hydrated, move gently. For the next 5 to 10 minutes, perform light stretches or a short walk inside your home. Don't worry about intensity. This isn't a workout. The goal here is circulatory awakening. When you stretch or move lightly, your muscles contract and release, helping push blood from your extremities back toward your heart and brain. This gentle motion promotes oxygen delivery, reduces blood pooling in the legs, and supports better balance and coordination, key factors in fall prevention. Morning movement also stimulates lymphatic drainage, which helps remove cellular waste and supports immune function. Even 5 minutes makes a difference. Stand tall, roll your shoulders, flex your ankles, rotate your neck gently. Breathe deeply. Your body isn't broken, it's waiting to be invited into motion. Now that hydration and circulation are underway, it's time for nourishment, but not in the form of sugar or caffeine. This is where many seniors fall into traps. Fruit juice, sweetened coffee, energy drinks, or skipping food altogether. Instead, aim for a balanced, low-sugar, high-fiber breakfast that includes hydration-friendly foods. Examples include a small bowl of oatmeal with flaxseed and berries, Greek yogurt with chia seeds, avocado on whole grain toast, or a boiled egg with a side of fruit. These combinations stabilize blood sugar, fuel your brain, and reduce inflammation. If you prefer something light, a protein smoothie with blended whole fruit and water is far better than boxed juice. Avoid processed cereals, pastries, or anything with more than 10 grams of sugar per serving. These foods may taste nostalgic but offer no protection to your aging arteries. As for coffee, you don't need to give it up, but you do need to delay it. Wait at least 30 to 45 minutes after waking, and after you've had water and breakfast, before drinking coffee. This minimizes its dehydrating effects and reduces the likelihood of early morning blood pressure spikes. When you do drink coffee, keep it simple, black, or with a splash of unsweetened almond or oat milk. Skip the sugary syrups, flavored creamers, or whipped toppings. If you love iced coffee, make it at home using cold brew concentrate and control the ingredients. Your brain doesn't need foam or sweetness, it needs oxygen, fluidity, and stability. Now let's talk about what not to do. Avoid the common killers within the first hour of the day. Don't drink fruit juice from a box. It spikes glucose and offers no fiber. Don't drink diet sodas or sugar-free energy drinks. The chemicals confuse your metabolism and stress your vessels. Don't skip water. Even if you're not thirsty, your brain is already dehydrated. Don't skip breakfast altogether. Fasting in the morning may work for some, but most seniors benefit from gentle nourishment to prevent blood pressure dips, dizziness, and nutrient depletion. In addition to physical habits, create space for mental clarity. After you hydrate and move, spend 2 to 3 minutes in stillness. Breathe deeply. Set an intention for the day. Express gratitude. Read a quote. Listen to a calming sound. This short ritual lowers cortisol, reduces mental clutter, and creates a psychological buffer against the chaos of the outside world. Your nervous system matters as much as your arteries, and the tone you set early will carry forward into how your brain processes the rest of the day. All in, this new morning routine takes no more than 30 minutes. And yet, the biological benefits last all day and build over time. You reduce your risk of stroke, support healthy blood flow, protect memory, stabilize mood, and feel more centered. You give your body what it has long needed, not quick fixes, not artificial energy, but real support rooted in biology and rhythm. Will every morning be perfect? Of course not. There will be days when you oversleep, feel rushed, or forget your water. But habit is not about perfection. It's about returning, again and again, to what your body responds to with strength. Keep water at your bedside. Keep healthy options in your fridge. Keep a chair by the window where you can sit in morning light and breathe. These small signals tell your body, I'm listening now. And when your body feels heard, it will start to respond with more clarity, more energy, and more resilience than you ever expected. So don't wait for symptoms. Don't wait for a warning sign. Build your routine now, not because you fear aging, but because you respect what it means to be alive. 1 glass. 1 stretch. 1 quiet breath. That's how you change your morning. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, that's how you begin to change your future. 10. Real stories, real consequences, the lives saved or lost by a morning decision. Sometimes, the science isn't enough. We hear the numbers, the risks, the mechanisms, and we nod. But it doesn't hit us. Not really. Until we hear a name. Until we see a face. Until we realize that the smallest decisions we overlook each morning, drinking or skipping water, choosing soda over hydration, reaching for juice instead of fruit, have shaped the destinies of real people. People like you. People like your mother, your neighbor, your friend from church. In this chapter, we step out of the textbooks and into the living room. These are the stories that doctors remember. The ones families can't forget. The moments when a habit either spared a life or shattered it. Take Robert, 72, retired engineer, sharp mind, meticulous routine. Every day for over a decade, he would wake up at 6 a.m., go for a walk, and return home to a cup of black coffee. He didn't drink water, never had the habit. Didn't feel thirsty, he used to say. His wife, Janet, often urged him to sip something first, but he brushed it off. Then one morning, 2 months after his birthday, Robert collapsed while lacing his shoes. The stroke struck fast, a clot in the left middle cerebral artery. By the time he got to the ER, critical minutes had passed. He survived, but he never spoke clearly again. The irony. His blood pressure had always been under control. He didn't smoke. He ate clean. But he was chronically dehydrated, especially in the morning. His neurologist quietly called it the morning gap, the moment his blood was thick and his brain was dry. Then there's Amelia, 65, a retired schoolteacher from Florida. Diagnosed with borderline hypertension, she began taking better care of her health after retirement. But she couldn't give up her morning treat, iced caramel lattes with whipped cream. "It's my reward for waking up," she'd smile. She drank it before breakfast, before water, sometimes as her breakfast. She assumed it was harmless. After all, she wasn't drinking soda. But then came the day she forgot where she parked her car. Then she began slurring words. Then her balance wobbled. An MRI showed small strokes, silent infarcts, had been happening for years. The caffeine, sugar, sodium, and lack of hydration had quietly stressed her vessels to the point of failure. "I thought I was doing everything right," she said through tears in her rehab center. "I didn't know coffee could be that dangerous if you used it wrong." But not all stories end in tragedy. Some serve as proof that change, even late in life, is possible and powerful. Consider Daniel, 79, a Vietnam veteran who used to drink soda every morning. His blood pressure was erratic, his memory slipping. His granddaughter, a nurse, sat him down and walked him through a new morning plan. Water first, then a short walk, followed by breakfast with protein and berries. Within 6 weeks, his energy returned. His mood lifted. His systolic BP dropped by 15 points. "I thought I needed another medication," he laughed. "Turns out, I just needed water." Or Grace, 83, who hadn't gone a day without fruit juice for decades. She believed it kept her healthy. But after reading about stroke risk and sugar surges, she began replacing it with blended whole fruit, eaten slowly with breakfast. She added lemon water each morning, cut back on salt, and kept a journal. A year later, her doctor called her results unbelievable. Her arteries were more responsive, her weight steadier, and her memory sharper. "It's not magic," she told her church group. "It's just the truth they never told us, that what you do each morning matters more than we ever imagined." These stories are not anomalies. They are reflections of what happens every day, everywhere, when someone makes a choice that either supports life or undermines it. And most often, that choice is made before 8 a.m. We end this journey with a message. You are never too old to change. Never too late to protect your brain. Never too far gone to return to your body what it has quietly needed all along: hydration, circulation, oxygen, balance. Whether you're 61 or 91, the biology is the same. Your brain is still working. Your blood is still flowing. Your heart is still beating. And they are all waiting for one small signal that says, "I care." That signal can be a glass of water. That signal can be skipping the syrup in your coffee. That signal can be choosing quiet before chaos, clarity before caffeine, nourishment before noise. And though it may feel insignificant in the moment, that choice, that ritual, that silent morning commitment, could one day be the reason your family never has to tell your story in past tense. So as you close this final chapter, don't just walk away with knowledge. Walk away with action. Set your glass tonight. Choose your drink wisely tomorrow. Reclaim your morning. Protect your brain. Because the future doesn't start later. It starts when you open your eyes. The smallest change that might save your life. You've made it to the end, not just of a book or a script, but of an awakening. You now know what few people over 60 are ever clearly told, that the single most dangerous time for your brain isn't during surgery, or late at night, or in a car. It's the first hour after you wake up. That in this quiet moment, when the sun hasn't yet fully risen and the house is still silent, your body is making life-altering calculations, trying to circulate blood, rehydrate cells, stabilize pressure, and restore oxygen to your brain. And in that moment, your choices matter more than you ever imagined. Most people wait for disaster before they change. They wait for the fall, the diagnosis, the scan, the moment the words stroke or mini-stroke are spoken aloud. But you don't have to wait. You now hold knowledge that can bend the arc of your aging process, not through fear, but through precision, through ritual, through the understanding that your body isn't weak, it's underfed, underhydrated, and misunderstood. You've learned how sugary iced coffee constricts your blood vessels, how bottled fruit juice floods your bloodstream with unbuffered glucose, how diet sodas confuse your metabolism and starve your brain, how energy drinks spike pressure in a system already overworked, and how the simplest act, drinking water first thing in the morning, can do more for your circulation, cognition, and longevity than any prescription ever written. But most importantly, you've seen the pattern. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. The question now is, what will you do tomorrow morning? Will you reach for that familiar, flavored coffee before water touches your lips? Will you pour orange juice and assume it's healthy because the label says vitamin C? Or will you walk to the sink, fill a clean glass, and offer your heart and brain the most essential gift they've needed all along? Because the difference isn't theoretical. It's cellular. It's neurological. It's immediate. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to begin. One day. One sip. One better choice. Because when you're over 60, your mornings are not ordinary. They are strategic opportunities to delay decline, resist disease, and reclaim vitality. This is your reminder. You are not powerless against stroke. You are not helpless against aging. You are not destined to fall apart. You have the tools. You have the truth. You have time. And that time starts now, when you choose not just to wake up, but to wake up with intention. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after, remember this. Your next glass of water might be the one that keeps your mind clear, your speech fluent, your body mobile, your heart strong. The smallest change could save your life.